What's up, guys? California Table Soccer here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing something slightly different for the channel. Now, we've done showcases before and we've done frame builds before, but what we're going to do this time is look a little bit more specifically at the kits that we've painted, as well as a little brief history and a look back over the club that we've done, which you already know if you've seen the thumbnail. We are looking today at Blackpool Football Club. Now, it is because of that reason that I'm honouring them with the only orange football shirt that I own, and this is a Real Betis away kit manufactured by the club themselves. My favourite feature, as you can just see there, is this sort of embossed Real Betis badge that goes all the way across the front of the shirt. Absolutely love it. Anyway, that's irrelevant to Blackpool, and I'm not even going to try and blag it. Okay, I am reading this from the laptop behind the screen, so you will probably see my eyes shoot up that way while I read this. Now, Blackpool were officially formed down the Boozer. Most good ideas come from the Boozer or the Shed back in the day, in July 1877, and it began its life in the Lancashire Leagues and winning the league title in the Lancashire League in 1893, I believe, or maybe even 1894, and was eventually accepted into the Football League, having tried a couple of times to get in and having their application rejected in 1896. Didn't stay there long though. By 1899 they were back out of the Football League, where actually they then merged with local rivals South Shore. Now that's going to be key, because later on when we look at the kits in the frame, the first two kits that we've got are actually from those local rivals South Shore, which went on, of course, as I just said, to be part of Blackpool Football Club when they merged together. Obviously Blackpool are famous for Stanley Matthews, and being pretty good throughout like the 40s and 50s, challenging for First Division titles and FA Cups, and eventually, of course, we all know it, the 1953 Matthews final. Club, though, has spent most of its life in the second, third and even the fourth tier of English football. It did, however, have a pretty meteoric rise through the 2000s, culminating in a playoff final victory, which then meant they got to the Premier League in 2010-2011, where unfortunately rather, they only lasted one season, missing out by a single point on safety on the final day of the season. And then since then they've sort of been on that steady decline all the way back down through the Championship, through League One, back into League Two in 2016 and 17. Only spent a year there though, did manage to get themselves back up via the playoffs again, and they're sort of now settled in League One, having sort of 3 consecutive mid-table League One finishes. So that is a very brief. I apologise to actual Blackpool fans that have got way better knowledge about this than me. Okay, very brief overview of Blackpool. Right, we're now going to go into the kits, and yeah, let's get on with it. Kits in the frame then are all of this Victorian era. Now the first two, the red and the black hoot version and the classic sort of regal looking blue sash kit, were actually those worn by South Shore. The next two are Blackpool kits. Blackpool were pretty famous for wearing blue and white stripes back in their sort of embryonic early days, and they had a one season wonder of that triple toned hooped kit. The narrow hoops are very, very tricky to paint, but give a really nice sort of aesthetic, especially when coupled with that white shorts, which helps bring that red out. I think if you had black shorts on that, you'd lose that red a little bit, because there's a lot of black throughout the kit. The next one along is actually one of my favourites in the frame. I love a sashed kit. I think River Plate and Peru have proved that you cannot go wrong with a sashed kit. And I'd be interested to know, actually, if you know in the comments, you can drop a comment below, have Blackpool ever used this version of kit or this style of kit as an away kit? I know they haven't used it as a home kit, but have they ever gone back to the white shirt with the blue sash as an away kit? If you know the answer, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to know. The next kit, as we've seen in the frame there, is sort of a classic colour combination made famous by Argentina. The white and sky blue stripes. It's got a classic winged collar and button up top, which you can just about see there. Love it with these navy shorts and socks. I think it really sets off the rest of it, and on that base combination is something that on a Sputio field would look fantastic. The one on the right was a one season wonder kit used during the war days, and the reason they picked it actually was a goodwill gesture for a lot of the Belgian refugees who arrived in the seaside town during the war, which is why it uses those colours of the Belgian flag. The triple tone hoops is a tricky one to paint. For me personally, in my opinion, you have to paint it hoop by hoop. You cannot get away with doing the ambery yellow hoops, then the reds, then the black, because I just feel like you'll lose the colour balance. And it's got that classic tie top. Tie top collars, for me, is something that's massively underused in modern football kit design. It's got a retro feel to it, a retro vibe to it, but it works really nicely. Leeds had a kit last season, their centenary home kit of a tie top, looked fantastic. Leganés in Spain, their 90th anniversary kit, which I will show you guys in the outro of this video, was stunning. The tie top was brilliant. Man United had the Newton Heath away kit in the 90s. It was a tie top, and I'm sure there's more. I would love to see Leicester bring out a tie top shirt. I think it works really nicely as a design. Really classic feature and underused hugely in modern football. So that's our first 4 kits. Classic Victorian efforts. A little bit of facial hair in there as well. Boot colours are leather. Some real nice details in there. I love that leather belt on the second South Shore kit. I love that kit in general. I think it looks really, really nice. Next 4 kits then are sort of the introduction of the Tangerine for Blackpool. Now they only wore that Belgian flag colour kit for 1 season, and when the league returned actually in 1915, the club went to a white shirt, the same as their bitter rivals Preston North End, and even shared the nickname the Lily Whites. It wasn't until 1923 when international referee Albert Hargreaves, who was also a director at Blackpool, and it was the Belgians again had a part to play in this colour change. He refereed a fixture between Belgium and Holland and convinced the board of directors that Tangerine shirts were the way to go forward, which is why probably they chose to go with black shorts and black socks, because I would have thought that's probably what the Dutch were wearing at the time. Classic clean shirt, black collar, tie top again, classy kit. And the next one again is pretty much the same. It's got that black winged collar. The white shorts really help to vibrant up that darker tangerine shade. The dark tangerine was what they used initially, and you can see with both of these kits actually the difference that the short color makes. The one on the left looks a lot darker than the one on the right, and that is down to, well, 2 things. One, the shorts being white on the right and black on the left. The white shorts will bring out the vibrant colours in the tangerine, whereas the black will dull them tones down. And also the colour of the base. So on the left we've got the black base, on the right we've got the white, and again it just helps to bring out those brighter tones. The next one, the double coloured, the double 2-tone striped shirt. But I don't know why the reason is for this, but in 1933 they ditched Tangerine completely and went back to them striped kits that they used about 10 years earlier. So another little question for the comments, if you know, is why did they do it? Why did they abandon Tangerine and go back to the blue? I think they did it for maybe 5 or 6 seasons. Back into the blue. It's a beautiful kit, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. Aesthetically it works brilliantly. Combined up with them white shorts, and on that base combination, if you put it on a Speedo pitch and you're going to put it in a frame, it's going to draw attention. It's a lovely looking kit. It did okay when they were wearing it as well. They were fairly successful wearing this kit. Got promoted back into the 1st division in this kit, where they were miles behind the brilliant 2nd division champions of Leicester City, who won the league by 1 point. But yeah, and they wore it in their 1st season in the 1st division, where they finished safely in mid-table, and in 1938-39 they returned to Tangerine shirts, which is the one we see on the right hand side. Now this version of this kit is from this, like the 52 to 55 era, which obviously encompasses the Matthews final. It's a lighter, more vibrant shade of tangerine, and it has the white shorts with the black socks, which for me is something I feel like Blackpool would not go far wrong doing again today. Bringing in them darker socks with the vibrancy of that tangerine, with the white shorts as well. As aesthetic, it works brilliantly. And they've got a history of wearing dark colours. Navy they've worn, black they've worn. So I feel if they did it nowadays, it would not look out of place. See the club crest brought onto the 52-55 shirt with the coat of arms-y style of shirt, classic wing collar. Just sums up that era, that 50s era of football kits really nicely. Here we go then. As you can see on the left, we have hit the late 50s, early 60s. That classic V-neck short sleeve. It's a style that comes up so much when I'm painting frames, and it's also the style of shirt that Subbuteo modelled their original heavyweight figure on. What a classic kit that is, by the way. Both of those first two, actually, just brilliant. So simple, so easy, so clean. They've used nice colours, they've brought them together nicely, and you don't need to go mad on a football shirt. Obviously, during the 50s and 60s, they wouldn't have done anyway. It's something that I think modern football kit designers could really learn from. I feel there's a lot of hunger and thirst to do something completely ridiculous, completely out there, to create an icon out of a kit. And it just forces designers down these crazy colour fade, patterny roads that I don't feel like they need to go down. It's needless. Those first two Blackpool shirts are brilliant. Obviously, the club has gone to the Tangerine socks. On the one on the left and the one on the right hand side in the middle there, they've got the white socks. Now, the club crest again features fairly heavily that sort of dominant area of the shirt, with the coat of arms style. The one on the right has that sort of, this is another thing that a lot of football teams did back then. They put their crest on this massive white patch, which I can remember Danny Baker saying on the Nottingham Forest version, when they did it like this, it was like wearing a Christmas card on your tit, which I think was on an old video of like own goals and gaffs that I sort of grew up on. The next ones in the line are sort of when shirt designers start having their influence over kits. Now, it's that classic Umbro tape-in design, which usually I absolutely love, and it's not to say I don't dislike it on this shirt, but I just don't feel that it works as nicely as it has done on other teams' kits. White V-neck with that wing collar is nice. The Umbro taping is okay, but just doesn't feel like it works as well as it could do. Blackpool did okay in this kit. They ended up 5th in the second tier in 76-77, but they were relegated the season after, finishing in 20th. And in the final season of wearing that Umbro kit, they were sandwiched in between Oxford and Southend in mid-table. The next one along sort of sees the first change to that solid Tangerine shirt design, sort of the white shoulder areas, and a change in the club badge, brought about by that sort of modernising of football where badges were changing. A lot of clubs went circular. This one's got the red Lancashire rose on it, with an orange ocean and a seagull on it. It works nicely on Subbuteo figures, actually. It's something that looks really, really good. Base combination wise, the white base Tangerine inner works for any Blackpool home shirt you could imagine. I think they're all white. Double white base looks really, really good as well. Obviously, orange base white inner would work as well. Grey, it's not something I'd maybe use if I was doing a team, but I've brought it in here to try and be that white replacement so that we see a little bit of a difference. Also on that final kit, we've started to see the introduction of navy trim pieces onto Blackpool kits, which again I think is a great thing. I'd like to think it's because the club were trying to sort of hark back to those darker blue tones that they had when they were in their sort of early days as a football club. But yeah, something they don't do now, which again I think is a missed trick by them. I think if they brought in those darker tones again, it could really, really help. Final round of kits then, and it's got the showstopper of all showstoppers in it. We're going to start with the one on the left though, which was the 1988-89 design. Aesthetically, works really, really nicely. We chucked it on the all orange because the kit is predominantly orange, but it works really nicely. And design-wise, it's very similar to that Admiral, Coventry, Brownsvig, Dundee, Wales design that Subbuteo did, where the design goes all the way from the shirt through to the shorts. Centralised badge, again, second time they've used the centralised badge, and it's that red Lancashire rose version. And again, they've kept that sort of navy trim piece coming into it, which I think works really, really nicely. Let's go on to the next one then, the 1989-90. Now this kit, I kid you not, that shirt itself took me about 2 hours. It's a two-tone Tangerine with some like white weave going through it. It's a crazy sort of off-the-wall design that works so well on Subbuteo. Now, if you had 10 of these out on a Subbuteo table, you're going to get attention. People are going to want to touch it. They're going to want to pick it up. It looks fantastic. It might have looked brilliant, but Blackpool were not very good wearing it. They were relegated to the fourth tier, to the fourth division in this kit. Only Walsall were worse than Blackpool during that season, so that's interesting. But from there though, so from 1990 through to the 2000s, so that sort of 20-year period, culminating in Premier League football in 2010-11. So they sort of came back from being in the fourth tier. 20 years later, they're back on top for their 28th season of top flight football in their history. They're first in the Premier League, won the playoffs the year before, managed by Ian Holloway, who, don't be wrong, like, Ian Holloway's a great bloke. He's a great speaker. He seems like a really genuine guy, but as a manager of Leicester, he was terrible. But he did a good job for Blackpool, so can't really knock him for that. Blackpool only spent one season in the Premier League, having been relegated, finishing in 19th place, finishing just 1 point off that mythical 40-point mark. But a final day visit to Old Trafford sealed their fate, where they're beaten by 4-2. The final kit on the right-hand side is the final kit used during a season, the COVID-19 affected 1920 season. Blackpool finished 13th in League One, having only completed 35 of 46 games. And again, this kit very, very similar to that 1960 that 58-62 kit. Badge slightly different. Blackpool made a return to that coat of armsy style crest, which does actually look really good. It lends itself really nicely to a Subbuteo figure. It's just a difficult one to paint. It's got a lot of colours, a lot of shapes to get into the right place. But it works really, really well. And again, I just feel like if they'd have changed them socks into navy socks even, or navy socks orange tops, I think it'd look really, really great, really, really nice together. Okay, that is the end of this video. Then it's something a little bit different the way we've chosen to go about it, because we complete a lot of frames off camera, but some of them look really nice, and it's nice to sort of show them off to you guys in a more detailed look at the kits themselves. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please give the video a like. Just by giving it a like, one, it gives me sort of a great, quick, rough overview of whether people liked the content as it came out, and it also helps boost the channel and boost the video to other people. If you haven't yet, please click subscribe. You'll see that come up on the screen in a minute as an option, as a button just to press, along with some video suggestions and playlists that you guys might want to have a look at. But yeah, so something a little bit different for the channel. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Throw a comment down below, especially if you know the answer to any of the 2 questions that we asked during this video. If you have any other questions related to Subbuteo painting, kits, etc., etc., please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can tweet us, you can email us, you can comment down below. Twitter and email are both up here. Don't forget, our 10% discount code at oldschoolfootball.co.uk is coming to an end. You can also, guys, do not forget, you can get t-shirts from us with our logo on. Buying one of those helps support the channel. They're comfy, they look good as well, they look pretty cool. But yeah, so not really anything else to say apart from that. Until the next one, guys, stay safe.